there's an end to your white privilege and it stops at rap songs. Anyway, all I'm saying, before we get off down this diatribe,
oh my God.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is I have a whole bouquet of whoopsie daisies to pick. And I found out where my line was.
Classic tactic, by the way. He starts out the episode dragging me through the mud so that he can trot in with his little apology and make it seem like it's not as big.
They all know what I'm doing. They're smart enough. If they've stuck around this long, they're pretty smart fellers.
Or pretty sharp cookies, if I say so myself.
Pretty fart smellers, if I may.
All right, well,
anywho,
do your mea culpas.
Okay, so I will say that I apologize for nothing within the moment of the last episode.
Well, who was that?
It was in the heat of
you're
passion.
Like Conor McGregor. I always want to say to everybody, I apologize for absolutely fucking nothing.
Or, I'm not fucking leaving! Or whatever the fuck they...
If they can't see you doing it, they don't...
Wolf of Wall Street? Is a Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving. Anyway, okay. I apologize for nothing what I said last week. I got a little heated. I was a little amped up for Super Bowl number
like Tom Brady.
51.
55.
That's what I said. 55.
Stop. Drink more water.
Shut the fuck up. You know I'm not as entertaining if I drink water. Anyway, I will say that finally I found out why I dislike Brady so much. That's what it really was. Is that he didn't seem human. He always seemed like he was... I'm better than you. Oh, yeah, I'm married a supermodel wife. Oh, I kiss my children on the lips. Oh, I eat vegan because it's anti-inflammatory. No, you just don't get hit, motherfucker. Anyway, this seems like an attack more than an apology.
It does.
I need to pull it back.
It does.
I know where I'm standing.
My question is, even if he did have that sense of I'm better than you,
well, he's a piece of shit, and it makes me
pissy.
It makes me pissy. It makes me pissy that he knows it.
Is it cocky if it's true?
Kind of makes me want to strangle him with his perfect Adam's apple and shove it down into his gut. Anyway,
all right, we'll wrap the.
We're not doing a 30-minute
This
is the most offensive apology that I think has ever been recorded. All I want to say is, like, I finally redact. I don't hate Brady anymore. After the week that he had afterwards, after I watched him, like, get walked to his car, I was like, after he, like...
tossed the trophy across open water while intoxicated?
I didn't know it was open water. I was like, oh, he tossed the fucking trophy to fucking Gronk and they just want to masturbate him for tossing it 5 feet. I didn't know it was open water where they could just, like... lose it forever and never be able to find it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they would have hired a dive team immediately.
They would have found it, but it would have cost him a couple of Finskys down the road. Anyway, he finally showed an inkling.
Honestly, it would have been cooler if it did fall in the water.
That would have been awesome, because then
I would just
give Brady a tank. Earn your fucking 7th Super Bowl back after you got given it to you by the Zebras in fucking 55. After you just got it handed to you, why don't you go earn it for once, you piece of shit? Anyway, again, this doesn't sound like an apology. Anyway,
sorry, I apologize.
Talking. I apologize, Brady.
We're never gonna get to
you are human, and I apologize. I actually through these last 2 weeks, I have learned a new affinity for Brady, and I feel like I've grown as a human in my life.
You know, David, it's nice when we admit when we're... I'm not going to say you're wrong, because I think we talked about it on the episode last week. I think if anybody has an objection to him being a poor sport, I think that's a valid objection. And that stands even if you like the guy a little bit more because he showed the ability to let loose and party. So you weren't wrong. Your objection was 100% valid, and that objection in a vacuum I agree with. But yeah, dude seems pretty chill. Seems to be having fun in Tampa Bay.
He at least likes to drink for sure shit. And if he said that,
either that or he's a cheap drunk.
If he says that he likes tequila, boy howdy, I can bring over avocado tequila. By God, well, we maybe hoist a few if this ever takes off.
So anyway, Brady, once this is the #1 podcast in the world, come on the show and let David apologize to your face.
I'll never do that.
Even if it's digitally because we're on a Zoom call or something.
We're in the same state. I think Florida allows for that shit.
Yeah, he's probably staying. He's getting pretty old.
Ooh, it's warm down here. Oh, I fucking hate the cold because I'm old. Anyway.
All right, David. Are you done? Are you happy with your apology?
Apologized.
No. I'm not rushing you. I'm saying, are you happy?
I'm happy
with the way your apology came out.
Tom Brady, I'm sorry. Thank you for being human for once in your fucking life and stop winning Super Bowls.
and let's drop in. Weapons of Meme Destruction Podcast, episode 31, coming at your face. WMDpodcast.com/31 is where you can find it.
Usually have to pay extra for that, Cotton. Coming at your face.
I was legit confused, so thanks for
You're
clarifying.
welcome. You look bewildered.
All your podcast catchers, like and subscribe on YouTube, share with friends and family, spread the good word about the show. All right, so David, what are we talking about this week? Oh, yeah,
I know what we're talking about.
the PC police. What was the PC police's dude's name from South Park? Was it just PC police, or did he have a name? The dude with the sunglasses.
PC principal.
PC principal.
All right, we're going to stay here. All right, gentlemen, ladies, anybody that identifies as anything else? You want to keep going? You want me to be PC police or PC principal for the entire time?
Wait, didn't you have a theme of taking
Strong
off?
woman! Strong woman!
Are you done?
He impregnated strong woman with like septuplets.
See,
And then strong woman
Here's the
entered a
thing.
strong woman competition.
Okay,
And then-
we're sorry, listeners. Brief detour. Here's the thing with me and South Park, okay?
You have you wanted to delve.
Right. I have a very vague recollection. I know the surface level stuff to make tangential connections.
for dudes.
All right. Well, I'm
Anyway.
sure, the 14 of you that are, I'm pumping our numbers
14.
up. Yeah.
14.
The 14 of you that are avid South Park
Generous,
listeners, you guys
to
can
say
hang
the
out with
least.
David, when you pay for that monthly subscription to get more
Excuse me?
access to your buddies here. Okay.
I'm not starting
On
an
to the topic,
OnlyFans
David.
account. We never discussed this. I know it's the new rage. I'm not showing my butthole to perfect strangers.
David's not led into long-term strategy meetings.
You're not selling my body against my will. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Here's what we're talking about today. The cancellation of Gina Carano.
How could you cancel her? She was an actor in Deadpool, for Christ's sake. That should make her an obvious perennial Oscar nominee.
And from what I hear, an integral part of Mandalorian being such a good entry into the overall Star Wars saga.
Not to mention an overall badass of a woman.
Yeah.
And me being the misogynist that I am, would not want to throw fists with that bitch because I'd catch a whole heaping lunchbox portion of knuckle sandwiches to the face.
So maybe you heard all of David's fears of getting beat up by Gina Carano notwithstanding. She got canceled by, was it Disney Plus? Is that who runs is that their streaming
Don't
service?
look at me for
Whatever.
that
I don't know
shit.
this-
I'm pretty sure that it's
I don't know
Disney
the
Plus.
specifics.
I don't
Anyway.
know. I got ESPN Plus to watch the McGregor fight.
She
and
got
it was
canceled
like-
for an Instagram post. And in the instance of full disclosure, we're going to start the episode off 8-9 minutes in. We're going to start
we
the
do.
episode off just reading the post, the offending post, verbatim, and then we're going to comment on takeaways from it. So
Questions, comments, criticisms?
the picture that she posted is a picture of what is a Jewish woman in Nazi Germany being chased by, it looks like a young
Children.
child in the
Looks like
background
children.
with a bat in their hands. And
Right.
so anyway, Gina's post, and I quote, "Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Sad face emoji. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?" Now, you might, close quote. Now, you might be asking yourself, Dane, if I just came out from under a rock yesterday and I didn't know that Gina was left, right, center, or what her political views are, based on what I just read alone.
I could, in all honesty, I'm that person, and I don't know which way she leans.
Yeah. Could you tell just from that quote alone whether she was conservative or liberal, whether she was talking about conservatives hating liberals just based on their political views or vice versa? Could you tell just from the tweet alone? I would say no, right?
Like I just said, I have no idea which way she leans. She could be left, right, center, ardent left, or ardent right. I have no idea where she leans.
Okay.
Because that seems factual, and she's stating facts to me.
So let's approach this from the viewpoint of, because this is the only way we can be as objective as possible. Because obviously, when politics gets entered in, the objectivity goes out the window, biases enter, and we can't be, agnostic, objective observers. But if we're that person who doesn't know whether Gina Carano is left, right, or center, what is at least one reasonable interpretation of this statement? I don't know. Maybe don't hate people so much for a simple difference of opinion, or in this case, because of their ethnicity. But the point she's making is because you don't agree with them politically. Don't hate them so much that you allow that hatred to drive you to the point where you stay silent for so long about people being persecuted that they wind up on train cars headed to concentration camps.
Why would you bring this up right now? Like, we're like coming together. We're becoming one United States again.
I know Biden told us so.
After
right?
this gigantic tyranny that had just happened to us for 4 years, where we started multitudes of different wars, and everybody wanted to fight us, and everybody hated us, and all of our allies abandoned us because we were such assholes for 4 years. Why would you bring this up now? Like, we're coming together.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, America was all gumdrops, rainbows,
lollipops.
And lollipops for, its history before the last 4 years. Is that
correct?
That's how I remember history.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah, we really fell off a cliff.
We dropped lollipops on the terrorists, and they said, "You know what? America's not so bad. We should probably protect them from all the other people. I don't know why they're Irish. I wasn't saying the IRA were attacking America. Maybe they were. Maybe they were doing it through ISIS. That's why they said the IRA through ISIS. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think you do, because you look a little lost right now.
I'm very lost.
I'm lost too. Help me find my wee beak.
Okay, so objectively speaking, Gina's meme that she posted, or picture that she posted on her Instagram, is not overtly anti-Semitic. She's not cheering anything the Nazis did. Now let's enter into the discussion for those, two of you that don't know. Gina Carano is an open and out conservative. She's not shy about this. She's all over Twitter and various social media platforms, Instagram, obviously.
But again, to know that, you have to know which baby Jennifer Aniston is having this week, who Brad Pitt is married to this week,
right?
Where Clive Owen is summering in the Hamptons. You'd have to be abreast to that shit. Like, I had no idea. I didn't care. I don't give a fuck. Like, you're an entertainer. Entertain me. Are you entertaining? Good. Awesome.
So now, if we're going to enter that particular prism into the viewing of her post, and, I don't know, we just assume the exact character trait that she's trying to point out is problematic, hating somebody just because of their political views, and we say, what? Gina Carano's a conservative?
Please don't answer it with the same thing that she's pointing out.
Yes.
Please.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
She's a conservative. She's using Nazi Germany and the oppression and wholesale massacre of Jews and applying it to American conservatives. That's anti-Semitic.
Isn't your side fighting for equal rights for women. Isn't that equal pay, equal this, equal that for women? Male misogynist. There's no such thing as a male anymore. It's only heterosexual cisgenders that have to suck their girlfriends.
Whoa. Let's not bring Tatiana McGrath into this.
Oh, can we throw that up though?
Yes, it'll be on the YouTube page. It'll have nothing to do with the episode, but
Right,
David saw it and really wanted to point it out.
Listen, it's just so. I mean, if that's not the snake sucking its own tail, I don't know what it is.
Graphic. Anyway, so if we're just going to assume the exact characteristics that Gina might find problematic, let's go ahead and cancel her, because the Nazis certainly didn't do that to 6 million people of a certain ethnicity.
Dane.
Don't laugh, dear listener, because we're about to read some headlines for you later of people on that side of the political persuasion saying that Trump is worse than Hitler. So just don't laugh too hard.
Hang on, dear listener.
So anyway, David was bringing up a good point about feminism and oppression and stuff like that. And that's heavily frowned upon from the left side of the spectrum, is it not? You would call that, right? That's still a thing, right?
I mean, I'm not throwing any yellow on the flag. There's no pass interference there to help you down the field, Brady.
I mean, treating women negatively with respect to how a man would be treated in similar circumstances.
Well, hold on.
I mean, that'd be heavily problematic.
Let me just say this. Right? Let me just say this. If you don't agree with everything that we say, you're on the outside, despite whether or not you were just 2 seconds ago on our side.
And speaking of how quickly you can fall inside or outside of that, we have a teaching moment, dear listener.
A pedagogical. A pedagogical device, shall we say?
David learned a word. He listened to other episodes and he learned words.
I listen back sometimes.
So
I like to hear my own voice.
We have what can only be described as misogyny or some other form of terrible thing, because you're never going to guess that Gina Carano's male cast member, Pedro Pascal, made a very similar quote comparing the plight of the Jews in Nazi Germany to a group of people in the United States.
May I pause you?
Go ahead.
Dear listener, if you are unfamiliar with, what was his name again? Pascal?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
David saw him earlier, made a connection. Very helpful.
No, it's not. I knew who it was. He was also in Wonder Woman. And he's like, that's good, could be better. Anyway, if you've been paying attention to memes or anything like that, or if you were Game of Thrones fans, he was the viper that got his head smashed by the mountain.
Ah. See, that's what made the connection for me.
Now, exactly.
This is where David's movie/entertainment brain that connects these dots,
comes in helpful sometimes.
In hand.
They never ask me about that in job interviews. They're never like, can you reference most 90s movies?
So, despite a tweet from Mr. Pascal, now granted, it was a couple years ago, 2018, but he had a hashtag This Is America was his tweet. And it was one picture that said Germany 1944, and it showed some Jews behind the barbed wire of a concentration camp. And then it says America 2018, and it shows some Hispanic, is it children? Yes, Hispanic children behind, cages. And we all know what Mr. Pascal's referring to here. This is 2018, middle of the Trump administration. Trump is Hitler. Trump is putting, Hispanic immigrants in concentration camps, et cetera, et cetera.
I would sing the song, but I don't want to do falsetto right now. Little did you know. There we go.
Now, it would be bad enough to say that Mr. Pascal, being a male movie star and employed with the exact same company on the exact same show, not being fired for such a thing, while Gina Carano is. That is a horrible tragedy of misogyny, if you ask me. But
hashtag me too.
Mr. Pascal, drawing his point about kids in cages in 2018 and how Trump is Hitler, didn't do his research, and that picture he posted of the immigrant children was taken in 2010 when Obama and, yes, your current return to normalcy President Biden was vice president were in office and building cages and putting kids in them.
All fairness, he's not the only one that made that mistake. I'm pretty sure that a lot of liberal leading news channels did that same thing.
I mean, fair enough as far as it goes, but we can still retract back to our first point.
But
not fired for the same thing.
Suffice it to say, he was posturing for them. He was showing that he was a member of their team. What would you call that?
Exactly.
What would you call that?
Manichaeanism.
No. God damn it. God damn it.
It's a running theme here.
It is Manichaeanism.
It is. Everybody on his team is good and can't do any wrong, and everybody on the other team is evil and terrible.
Moral deploralism? It's not that. It's
moral relativism?
Not moral relativism. It's posture.
Let's not hash this out mid-show.
You guys wanna come in the comments? Because I know this would be like a fucking tick in my brain that I'd be like, why did you guys not say that shit? Say it what it is in the comments, and then we'll thumbs up everyone that got it right.
Okay.
Keep going.
Anyway, this is a horrible travesty of justice that Mr. Pascal is still employed while. Now, granted, you're gonna say, oh, Dane and David, you're just lamenting Gina Carano getting fired, and now you're asking for him to be fired. No, that's not the point. We're not saying that he should be fired. We're saying that because he plays for the right team, and his team is the decision callers in the cathedral, whether that be politics, in this case, Hollywood, social media, all your blue check marks, your international governing bodies, the cathedral, the people, the Borg that speaks with one voice, so to speak. His team rules all that. So he's not in trouble. His president that puts kids in cages is in trouble. And his previous vice president, now current president, with kids still in cages, despite saying that was the first thing he was going to do when he got in office, was release them. None of that counts because those are all on his team and he's not in trouble for it. But Gina, she is persona non grata. That's absolutely unacceptable, what she did.
If you guys stuck around long enough to hear the answer, it was virtue signaling. Virtue signaling.
We've said that phrase a billion times.
I know, and
how
why
could you not remember that one?
Virtue signaling. If you guys chimed in with that, awesome possum. Good work.
Yeah. So, we're all very, very proud of David for
Googling.
For getting his words right. Not getting
I get my words mixed up
not getting his words all mixed up. So, David, since we've been going a little long on this episode already, you want to do a lightning round?
I mean,
you want
to fire down range.
We've taken it micro by showing how the cathedral protects one of their own, like Mr. Pascal, and yet brings down the axe with swift conclusion.
Can I point the mic directly at my mouth for this?
I would prefer if you did. So, for again, those two of you that lived under a rock for the past 4 years.
Hold on. Let me loosen up for you. The lightning round. Lips, teeth, tip of the tongue. Lips, teeth, tip of the tongue. Here we go. Okay. You ready? I'm good. Here we go.
Just a wee bit more setup.
Here we go. Oh, shit. Setup?
You might remember that the last 4 years, the cathedral, again, in unison, was chanting literally Hitler at everything Trump did. So, David, this lightning round is going to be some articles from the past, a little brief trot across the last 4 years, just to see how light and airy and full of unity and togetherness.
Fuck, I'm getting more nervous as we go. Don't build it up anymore. Let's get her going.
Okay, here we go. From The Independent, Alec Baldwin says Trump should be, quote, buried in a Nazi graveyard in a scathing Twitter rant.
Can I go with Alec Baldwin shouldn't be here because he said he'd move out of the country because Trump was elected?
Because he's literally Hitler.
Right, literally Hitler. Here we go.
Next headline. Biden compared Trump's relationship with Kim Jong-un to America's, quote, good relationship with Hitler, end quote, before the war.
It just seems like a romantic love story to me. I don't know what's wrong with that ever. Keep going.
Well, in terms of a romantic relationship, I guess in this context, he'd be saying Kim Jong-un is Hitler and Trump is... Oh, yeah, that's right. FDR had really high praise of Hitler before the war.
Kim Jong-un had a lot of hang-ups. He's like, I got to control this. I gotta make sure that enough people starve each year. And Trump's like, just be with me. I want you to experience this lifestyle. And he's like, no, I can't because I've got all these people depending on me to kill them. And then like all of a sudden, like they realize that they can kill them both together. Trump.
All right. Next headline. Our lightning round is slowing down.
I wasn't done with my pitch.
That's partially my fault.
Keep going.
Next headline, Washington Post. It's not wrong to compare Trump's America to the Holocaust.
Why would it be?
Here's why. Subtitle, parallels lie in authoritarianism, racism, ethnic myths, and dehumanizing language, not the final solution.
That's never happened to anybody ever. Because like you'd never say like white privilege or like insufficiencies within the systemic racism. You'd never say words like that within a perfectly unflawed system, would you? No, never.
Next title, Joe Biden likens Ted Cruz to Nazi propagandist Goebbels.
Seems fair.
For helping Trump spread, quote, big lie about election fraud.
Well, you know, as Biden would know about fraud and elections in Ukraine, you know, he would know a fraud when he see it. So we got to trust him on that one. Keep going. Lightning round.
Opinion, Joe Scarborough. Quote, we made the same mistake that people made during Hitler's rise.
What the fuck does that even
This
mean?
is my favorite.
I'm sorry. I missed the entire plot when he just said whatever the fuck he said.
This one is actually on the nose for Gina, for Gina's point, but he thinks he's making it about Trumpers. But, you know, as the old saying goes, if you point at someone, there's three pointing back at you. So he says, quote, we made the same mistake that people made during Hitler's rise. Now, he's going to say the Trumpers were sycophantic, you know, worshipers of Trump, and everything he did and said was, you know, straight from God and he was perfect. But what he's failing to realize is the point that Gina's trying to make out is that the left liberals, like Mr. Scarborough and the rest of the Cathedral, in dutiful obedience to their ideology of that anybody that disagrees with them by 2.3% is a racist Nazi fascist. That's the mentality that led to Hitler's rise, hating other people for all manner of reasons.
Well, what that also does,
etc.
What that also does, if we can
leads to Hitler's rise.
Press pause on the lightning round. What it also does
is I did that already. That's my fault.
It also lends itself to a huge logical fallacy that there wasn't things that led to the rise of Hitler. There wasn't things that led to the election of Trump. Like, if you guys, and I'm just going to skip through all the things that led to Hitler's election, but if you guys hadn't have fucked up everything that you had been fucking up for so long, yeah, I know I said, I think I'm on 3 now.
For those of you keeping count at home, I hope the kids aren't, you know, doing tallies and
close your ears.
How many fucks did Uncle David say today?
All of them. Like, what it does is it pushes the cart down the road when they don't look at. I think Jesus said this. Look at thine own ass first, children, before casting the first stone. Like,
I think that's a direct quote.
That's legitimately what he said. Anywho. When you blame somebody for getting elected, you mitigate the fact that you might have done a poor job to get them elected. Remember when they were like, oh, Hillary's gonna win by a landslide. Don't even bother showing up at the polls because it's gonna be a landslide. That's like that sprinter that pulls up with 20 meters to go because she's 20 meters ahead. Just because you pull up doesn't mean that you've already got it and everyone else pulls up. They're going to keep going. That means you messed up, dog. Take some ownership for your mistakes.
We got like 7 more to go in the lightning round.
All right. That was the pause in the lightning round. Here we go. More lightning round. Let's go.
Woo! Article title. Is it wrong to compare Trump to Hitler? No. Opinion. I mean, they said no, so it's just clearly not. I mean, why are you even asking?
Do you want me to answer that, or was I supposed to be involved in that, or you just no? Go ahead.
Apparently that
I spelled you out. You're welcome. Go for it.
Spike Lee says Trump, quote, will go down in history with the likes of Hitler.
That's where I take all of my political advisement from, is Spike Lee.
There you go.
And all of his movies.
That's why you know so much stuff.
Kids in the Hood.
Here's one from, and this is the title of the article. This is not me. Jewish MSNBC commentator says, quote, "What is the difference between Hitler and Donald Trump?" The man's name is Donnie Deutsch, who said that Jews who are supporting Trump are, quote, "walking off a cliff." Or no, that wasn't a quote. This is the quote. "How dare you with what our people have gone through?" That's what Mr. Deutsch has to say about it.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Deutsch. How many Jews did Hitler round up? About roughly 6 million, 9 million, somewhere around there?
6 to 9, I think. Somewhere
6 to 9. Okay, so how many Jews did Trump round up in this country? Zero. There was zero Jewish concentration camps. So I think that's a pretty definitive statement right there. I feel like there's like 6 to 9 million to 0. I feel like that's a pretty easy stat to run.
Is that your commentary for purposes of the lightning round? Or
Let's go. Let's go. We're moving on.
Noam Chomsky on post-COVID-19
What the fuck is he doing off my goddamn lawn? How did he get off my lawn? Why? And how did he learn to type? Let alone get on the internet and know my fucking internet. Jessica,
don't
woman.
Actually call her. She's going to come in here going, what? And you don't actually...
I'm going to ask her how the fuck our lawn gnome got a hold of our goddamn Wi-Fi password.
All right. Well, at any rate, Mr. Lawn Gnome
and why does he have a cell phone? There's so many questions.
Mr. Lawn Gnome had this to say. Trump is worse than Hitler, but the peasants are coming with pitchforks. Not the peasants that showed up at the Capitol steps on January 6th.
Grab your torch and pitchforks.
Those were all evil racists.
Well, as we all know, all you need is a little bit of Shrek's mystery, right?
Right.
To get out of the swamp. Or back into the swamp.
Stephen Colbert.
Donkey.
Poor Stephen.
Oh,
why did you
Colbert.
fall so far?
Stephen Colbert.
It's like it's not even comedy anymore. It's just, talking points from the Cathedral that he thinks are funny.
That's not him.
I know, it's disgusting.
That's not him.
Anyway, Stephen Colbert compares Trump to Hitler in his quote-unquote underground bunker. Okay. I guess.
It's okay.
Means Trump's
fine.
dead.
I love you, Stephen.
And then last and not least,
my favorite characters in cartoons. What's the last one?
A nice little quote that kind of shows you that it starts to bleed outside of the just Trump is literally Hitler. So headline is a leading Holocaust historian just seriously compared the U.S. to Nazi Germany, saying this quote. If the U.S. has someone whom historians will look back on as the gravedigger of American democracy, it is, drumroll please, Mitch McConnell. You thought it was going to be all Trump, right? But no, you can see it.
So now
it bleeds out from the center.
They're starting to bleed out the line to the right. But you know what's missing from all of these indictments?
Any cancellations for comparing the Treaty of Versailles, the Jews?
The Treaty of Versailles that said that we can't trade with any other country ever. The Treaty of Versailles that said that you just have to be poor for the rest of your fucking life because you started this First World War. Because it was your idea, you piece of shit. That's what we're all missing.
When he says we, he's referring to the Weimar Republic, Germany.
Correct. But there's a huge gap in everything that we are to Nazi Germany. We weren't paying $1,000 for one loaf of bread.
Yet.
We weren't paying $1,000 for a gallon of OJ.
Yet.
We might have been paying $1,000 for a high-class prostitute never to tell us our wives that we were with them in that hotel room.
No, we are God-fearing men.
Correct. So, God is on our side. God bless America. And go fuck yourself, Nazi Germany. How about that?
Now you'll notice that laundry list, that not so lightning round, that was more of a thunder round.
It was like a prolonged, you saw the lightning and 7 seconds later you heard the thunder.
You'll notice that none of those names, Alec Baldwin, Stephen Colbert, David's Lawn Gnome, Donnie Deutsch.
You can't say thunder, and I thunder.
Mimi's, you have no idea how hard my portion of this podcast is.
You are the hardest working member of this podcast. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I'm
Anyway.
so sorry.
Anyway.
Anyway,
None of them canceled. Cathedral members, but Gina gets the axe. Which brings me to my final point. I don't know if David has more points, but here's my final point.
I've got all the points.
Here's why the Cathedral hates Gina Carano. And it's for the same reason as, and we're going to put it up on the YouTube video because I'm going to send it to Carlos, but it's that picture that everybody's seen. It's the one of the close-up of all the guys. It's in Nazi Germany, and they're all doing the Heil Hitler salute, and there's one guy just standing there with his arms folded.
That
right? Everybody's
famous dude.
Yeah, everybody's seen that picture, and that's why they hate Gina Carano. Well, that's not because you know everything that conservatives say or do is right. Because believe me, because you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know we have just as much shade to throw on the right as we do the left. However, they hate her because she's capable, because she's an independent thinker, that she's strong. And I mean, let's be honest, they hate her because she's pretty. Well, like she is everything that they say they are and they wish they were, but they know they're not.
Can I surmise that?
That's why they hate her.
They hate her because she doesn't need them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because she ain't them. Or they ain't her.
It's the same thing. It's like she doesn't need them to get by.
Right.
That's what scares them. They want you to think that you need to be told you can go outside with a mask or you can't go outside without a mask.
Right.
Like they need you to think that you need to adhere to all their rules. And once you think that, then they have control of you. But unfortunately for them, she was in an industry that they like to control a lot, but she was also strong enough to know that she can also say with her own voice what she thinks, and she doesn't need them to back her up.
And I mean, to each of those character traits that I just pointed out, think about what they think about themselves.
What are they preaching on the same side? What are they preaching? They're preaching exactly that. But then they went against they're being misogynistic by cutting her off right now.
Yeah, and not doing it to her male cast member.
Exactly.
But to get to her personal, her individual characteristics and how they look at themselves as possessing these things, and clearly, just by the behavior demonstrated in this action of silencing her because, again, they don't like her political views, how they don't measure up to what she is. She's capable. Everybody on that side of the ledger thinks they're the most capable person in the world. Why do they want to vote for every politician that controls every aspect of your life? Because you need to be ruled by the expert, citizen. You need to wear your mask because St. Fauci told you to wear 47 of them. Only the capable people can rule, and they think they're in that class. Or
option B.
She's an independent thinker. They think they're the independent thinkers. They're the ones that came up with the completely erroneous moniker of the science. They think they're being super independent thinkers when they regurgitate the science to shut down any conversation.
The science that doesn't adhere to biology. But anyway, let me throw this last one in before you get your last point in. Like, oh fuck, I just lost.
You'll think of it.
Go.
They think that they're strong. They have their quotes about how oppressed they are and how bad their life is, but they're just gonna overcome and they're just the social justice warriors that are gonna fix the world, right? I mean, in the name social justice warrior implicates strength. Well, she has the strength to stand on her convictions and on her own conclusions that she's come to, regardless of the fact that it's gonna cost her job, and they axe her anyway.
That's it.
And the last one, it's obvious. She's pretty. So,
Hold on.
How many of the screechers on the left are...
To throw all that off...
Could even compare
suffice
to Gina
to say, and if you want to say that, like, maybe they would have lost viewership, who the fuck that watches The Mandalorian cares? Who would care if she put that post on? The only reason they have to release her is that there would be a financial loss if they kept her. But if nobody gives a fuck... When was the last time you heard a politician say something and you went, you know what? I appreciate what they had to say. They were
they're really onto something.
27,000 of the 28 million Avengers. So you know what? I'm going to vote the same way that Ant-Man does. No offense, Paul Rudd. I love you. But who doesn't? But my whole point being is like, what was your reason to fire her? Nobody would have saw in the tweet. And if they did, they wouldn't have given a fuck and they would have still watched The Mandalorian because she was a side character to boot. It's not like she was the main fucking character. So what are you really doing? You're exerting your power on a lower stanchion because you can. Period. And what is that indicative of? Hi. Right back to, if you want to go Manichaeanism, let's go Manichaeanism. That's exactly what Hitler did to the Jews. He blamed them all for it because they were lesser than them.
Use rhetoric that made them subhuman, so they're easy to dismiss and deny and cancel and ultimately kill.
Boom. That's it. They dehumanized them because they didn't see exactly the world that they saw. So now they're less than human. Now we can throw them in acid baths. How is that any different than what Hitler did? It's not. So the people that talk the most about Hitler are the ones that are most performing Hitler's acts.
And that, I think, really ties the bow on it. David, the first time I ever heard this quote was from you, and it's stuck with me ever since, was like dislikes like. Now, usually it comes out in terms of one person versus another. Like if somebody's really selfish and you're selfish and you don't like that about yourself, you really hate that person because it reminds you of yourself. They're not saying that they're like Gina Carano, but they intrinsically know that they are the exact person.
They're scared
with
of
the
Gina.
mentality that they would use to even cancel her for daring to say it. They are the person who wouldn't question when the supreme leader says march in this direction.
Okay. So
they are the ones that she's warning about.
You want to
and that's what they hate because they were put on blast on front page.
Because they can't control them. And they're scared of what they can't control. And if you said, okay, you want to cancel Gina Carano? Cool. Throw your best politician in there. We'll lock the cage behind him. And you fight Gina Carano for whether or not you're right.
Yeah, I think we should bring back duels.
Do it.
I mean, Aaron Burr is an American hero.
Like, let's get it. Like, if you think she's wrong, all right. Ron Paul or whatever, Mitch McConnell or...
Hey. You leave Papa Ron out of this.
Excuse me.
Watch it.
There's one Papa Ron. Or, I meant Rand Paul. Excuse me, not Papa Ron Paul.
You leave Papa Ron out of it.
All right, Pelosi. You think she should be canceled? Go in and cancel her yourself with all your wares. Anyway, you want to tell them where they can find us?
Yes. They can find this episode, wmdpodcast.com/31, YouTube, Instagram. We have a TikTok too. Stay tuned to that. I'm thinking about doing some stuff with TikTok. That
I'm going to dance with my G-string.
All the kids are going to dig it.
TikTok? Is it called TikTok?
Jesus, David. No.
TikTok?
David.
One more time. TikTok?
Yeah. So episode 31. Find us,
TikTok?
like us, share us, come to the website, join
Smash
the email
that
list,
subscribe button.
and I don't know.
What can
Just
I do?
pray for David.
Yeah. Yes.